fourth graders. So we're going to look over our homework from yesterday. We'll do our practice notebook page together, and then I got practice problems for you. We'll look over those answers, and then I'll show you your homework. So let's start by getting our math books open to page 175. Then for homework last night, we needed 1 through 6 and 13 through 18. So let's start with number 1. You should have had 4, 40, and then 400. Number 2, you should have had 18, 180, 1,800. 3 should have been 30, 300, and 3,000. That's one of those tricky ones because one of the zeros is part of our actual answer. All right, and then number 4 should have been 2,400. 5 should have been 3,600. And 6 should have been 4,500. And number 13, you needed to find out 10 times 20 was 200. 14 was 90. 15 was 80. 16 was 10. 17 was 90. And 15 was 50. Hopefully that went pretty well for you. Now, let's take a look at our notebook page for today. So what we're doing today is we're going to use estimating to help us round. Now, we've done estimates before. Try to get a little clearer. Yeah, I'll just zoom in on that top part. We'll zoom out after. All right. So when we're using estimates, it means we're going to find a value that is close. C-L-O-S-E. Go ahead and fill that in on your worksheet to the correct answer. To find estimates, we need to use rounding. We're going to use our rounding skills to help us find our closest multiple of 10. It means we're going to round to the largest spot. Okay? You know that you only need an estimate and not an exact answer or the actual answer when the problem asks for about how many. And the key keyword there is that about. Whenever you see that word about, start thinking in your head, I need to find an estimate or round. To find our estimates, we round our factors to the largest place, like I said earlier. The largest place. If we can round both factors, we should round all capitals both. Last time we talked about rounding to find estimates, estimated products, we only rounded 1. That's because we only had a single-digit number. Now we're going to have two-digit numbers, two two-digit numbers. So we'll round both. We'll multiply our mini math fact and add our zeros like we did yesterday. So let's look at a few practice problems together. We'll do 3 together. All right. So 39 times 19 would round to, I'm looking at 39. My largest spot is the tens. And I look next door, and that 9 tells my tens to round up. Round up to a 4, and everything behind it is a 0. Then I do the same thing for my 19. 9 tells the ones to round up, and my 9 becomes a 0. Now I'm doing what we did yesterday. I'm looking for that mini math fact. 4 times 2. Well, 4 times 2 is 8. And then I add in how many zeros? 1, 2. So it would be about 800. Okay, so let's try our next one. 64 times 13. To do this, we're going to round our 64. We're going to round it down, or are we going to round it up? We are going to round it down because it's got that 4 next door. So this rounds to 60. And I want to write this just underneath it. Times 13. What should 13 round to? 13 would round to 10. Yep. All right. And then if we multiply this, 6 times 1, my mini math fact, is 6. and I add 2 zeros, so that should be 600, about 600. Now, let's look down here. Our book gave us the problem and a solution, and we have to decide if this is accurate, reasonable, or not reasonable. This time, we want it to be within a few hundred. If it's more than a couple hundred off, like if it's thousands off, then it's going to be really not reasonable. So let's take a look at this one and tell me what you think. First thing we need to do is round both of our factors. 34, from our rounding skills know, rounds to 30. What does 52 round to? 52 would round to 50. Yep. So then I find that mini math fact, 3 times 5 to get 15, and I add in my 2 zeros. 1,500. Is that reasonable for an answer of 2,288? No, it's not. It's more than 500, definitely off. This is way off, not reasonable. So now what you're going to do is you're going to practice. You're going to go through and round and find estimates for all of these, even these ones. They don't tell you to round, but you're going to use your skills just like we did on number 2. Okay? And then decide if 7 is reasonable or not reasonable. And 8 is a word problem. Watch out for those tricky words that tell you what kind of math you need to do. Unpause the video when you're ready to check your answers. All right, let's look over number 1. You should have gotten 40 times 30, which would get you 1,200. Number 2, you should have gotten 40 times 30, or you could just cross that off because I realize it's the same problem. Whoops. All right, let's try number 3. You should have rounded 40 times 20, and then that would get you 800 again, same as number 1 over there. Number 4 should have rounded to 80 times 40 because of our rounding skills. And then you should have found the mini math fact 8 times 4 for 32. Adding on 2 zeros should have been 3,200. Number 5, you should have rounded down to 50 times rounding up to 20. Mini math fact of 5 times 2 is 10. And add in 2 zeros, you should have gotten 1,000 for your rounded estimated product. Number 6 should have rounded to 30 and then times rounded 60. And you should have done 3 times 6 for that mini math fact of 18 and add 2 zeros for 1,800. Number 7. So they thought the answer should be close to 2,706. Well, to round this correctly, 66 should round to 70 times 40. And you're going to use what mini math fact? 7 times 4 to get 28 and add in 2 zeros for 2,800. Well, 2,800 is really close to 2,706. So you should have said that this one is reasonable. Number 8. You should have found that the baker makes 23 batches of cookies and he does it 14 days. So we're going to multiply those. But we don't need the real answer because it said about how many. Remember that from over here? About how many? So then I'm going to round both of these factors to 20 times 10. And 2 times 1 would get me 2 and add 2 zeros. And we need a label about 200 cookies. You definitely need cookies. About is an extra bonus. Make that look more like a smile. All right. So today's is really similar. Once you get similar to yesterday's, once you remember to round your numbers to the biggest spot. Remember to round both factors so we can use that trick of adding the zeros at the end. Today for homework, you've got page 187, 188, numbers 1 through 6, 11, 17, 18, and 19. Let me know if you have questions. Good luck.